My name is Lee Goldstein. I am the Director, Trade Room Moderator at thenewstraders.com, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me your time today and coming to this webinar. I want to give you my word that we are not here to sell you anything, that our goal is to help you to get started in the system. This is an exclusive webinar that we have invited members and just a few of the friends of JOBB. I will say it again, this is not a sales webinar. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to help you to learn about the system. And I'm going to kind of start from scratch. I'm going to act as if I were one of you, which I am. I was a member. I became involved with the company because I was a member and I was looking to trade the news and I wanted a way to do it that would help me. And that's how I got involved in this new life of mine, very honestly, which is now so totally different than it ever was. And I'm very, very happy to be involved. This trade room has become maybe one of my most favorite places on earth. I just love it here. I love the people. I love all of you and all the things you teach me and show me, and I just think it's the greatest place. So my goal is to let's see if I can't help you with the problems that you have in learning to trade the news, because it is a skill set, just like riding a bicycle, that you have to learn and practice and get good at so that you can be successful at it. So the first thing I want to do is I promised I wouldn't do what do you call it, a PowerPoint presentation, because number one, I can't stand them, and number two, they're nothing but pre-recorded, uh, pre-recorded, prefigured, pre-done, pre-this, pre-that. I'm an off-the-cuff kind of person, and I just want to let you know what this is and who we are, and that is the bulk of my PowerPoint. So it's thenewstraders.com is our new name. You know us as JOBB, Joe Bracket Breakout, but we don't call ourselves anymore. That's now the name of our software. And our new website is thenewstraders.com. That's where you log in. That's where you do everything from now. So keep that in mind, okay? We are changing our name because it makes sense. What we do is trade the news. It just seems to make more sense. I accidentally flew by the risk disclosure, but you want to know that you want to be careful trading. You can lose more money than you plan on. I don't have to run through this, but I will. The rules are trade carefully, know your margins, and don't be foolish. Okay, it's just that simple. Be careful and understand you could lose more money than you expect. Okay, but the idea is not to do that, and that's why we're all here. The JOBB team is made up of Eric Spiker, E-Money. He's one of the partners. He lives in Florida. Beautiful family. You've been through all of this before. So some of our new members have never seen everybody that's involved with this company. Eric Spiker is one of the people, does a lot of things in the background. And then our other member, the person who actually founded the software way back in 2013, 2014, lives in Hawaii. I should be so lucky to live in Hawaii. Um, but he also works for the Department of Defense. He's been in submarine warfare. You can read the PowerPoint. Jay Offner is the gentleman who sends out the reports before every trade that we call the HIRA, the High Impact Report Alert. Before every single trade, we send one out. It helps you to learn how to trade that specific report. And Jay is the man who's responsible for that. And he invented the software. Okay. So you can thank Jay for getting this whole thing started. And then this is me. I'm the director. I was a musician. I'm the trade room monitor. I was just a regular person, just like everybody else. I came here and I just felt like I had nowhere to go. I had no place to go when a trade was done. So what I did was I wrote a million letters to the guys that run this company, and they finally hired me. And we started this trade room. And now, in my opinion, it's in this trade room that everything flows from. Okay. That's how I see it. So, what I want to do is I'm going to do things as if I was starting from scratch. You all know that I have the software already installed. You've seen me using it, but I want to make believe that I'm just like everybody else and I just got the strategy today and I'm starting from scratch and learning how to use it. So, just a couple of brief things just so you understand how you get started. Right now, we use NinjaTrader. Okay. NinjaTrader is a futures broker, but they also have what's called a grandfather date. If you were a live NinjaTrader customer prior to March 11th, 2015, then you are able to use NinjaTrader with other brokers like AMP, for instance, or Optimus, for instance. But if you're a brand new NinjaTrader customer, then NinjaTrader.com, they are your broker. And that's not bad and it's not good. It is what it is. In my opinion, they happen to be pretty okay as a broker. I've not had any problems with them. They've treated me fairly. Their tech support for me has been very, very good. I do hear from people that their tech support hasn't been as good as it should be, but I've never had an issue with their tech support. Generally, you send them an email during normal business hours and they get back to you within a matter of minutes. And that's what I call good tech support. They have a million videos, so it's not my job here to teach you totally how to use NinjaTrader. Of course, there are things that relate to JOBB that we need to know about NinjaTrader that I am here to help with. But if you have NinjaTrader, real serious Windows questions, that is not my job. So I want you to understand that. You have to know how to use Windows a little bit, just so you could get around. If I say click this PC, you have to know that there is an icon on your desktop, most probably called this PC, and you're going to want to click it. Okay. So those are things that I'm expecting that you know. Um, if you don't, then you've got a little bit of extra work to do. You have to catch up a little bit. It isn't impossible. I am not a Windows fanatic. I am not a Windows genius, not a technological genius. And I find it very manageable to deal with all this stuff. So there's never a reason to panic. There's never a reason to worry more than you have to. Take your time, ask questions. And that also brings me to the point, you don't have to wait until the end of this webinar. You can ask me questions as we go. I actually prefer that because, as I said, I'm off the cuff. I do have a syllabus, believe it or not, but I am basically off the cuff where I may go back and forth on different things. So feel free to ask me any questions. You don't have to raise your hand. Just type it in. I will see it and I will answer it as soon as I can. If you think I've missed it, just type it again. And of course, Aspen, you're going to get to see my workspace. Everything that you ask me, I will try to do for you. Okay. So don't be embarrassed if you don't know something. I don't know everything. People in the room often tell me things that I don't know. And that's the beauty of the trade room. It's a place of knowledge, entertainment, education, and hopefully profitability. That's the key. The education is the key. It's our job to teach you how to use this stuff so that you can find your own trades, design your own trades, use our trades, but not be trapped and just follow us, but be able to do things on your own. So over the holidays, we worked like crazy to get the new software out to all of our members. We have major updates of the JOBB software, and we also now support Ninja 8. So we didn't just upgrade our software, we've also come out with a new platform. Ninja, in their whatever you want to call it, decided to make NinjaTrader 8 very incompatible with NinjaTrader 7. There are people that complain that they don't like NinjaTrader 8. There are people that complain and say that NinjaTrader 8 is full of bugs. I will say that in my usage of NinjaTrader 8, it's been okay. I haven't had it crash once on me, and it seems to be all right. Everybody has different experiences. I am going to wait and see how it goes before I make a final value judgment on it. But so far, I like what I see. I don't like that every single indicator has to be rewritten. I don't like that every single strategy has to be rewritten. I don't and never will understand why they made that decision, but they feel they had to do it, so they had to do it. Okay? What we did over the holidays is we sent out a link that sends you to this location if you're a member. You can't see this if you're not a member because you had to log in. Now, I will say that this download software and instructions and all this stuff about worrying about whether you can load things into Ninja, I don't think most people have to worry about that. I think you can pretty much go straight down to our software. Scroll down, it says download NinjaTrader 7, NinjaTrader 8, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and download NinjaTrader 8 V8. I had a feeling that I would see. I'm doing this on the VPS, so if I have any problems, I have everything preloaded. So you click here to download JOBB V8, which is NinjaTrader 7. You click here to download the trap trade, okay? You've got a help file. You've got a pivot file. You just click and it downloads. Chris asks, he has V7, so is it now V8? Chris, it's what you prefer to use. Right now, I prefer V7. I know it better. I'm more comfortable with it, but I'm learning V8, so you can do both. Brian makes a great point. Create a restore point before upgrading. In Windows, you can go to your security settings. You can go to your settings in general and create a restore point. Just in case something crazy happens, it's never a bad idea to do that in Windows, create restore points so that you can go back to the way things were if you have to uninstall. So I'm going to make believe that I'm downloading JOBB V1, which is the NinjaTrader 8 version. And then JOBB V1 zip is the trap trade version and the breakout version. Those are the two software programs that we have. And we also download pivots. Okay. So if I close my VPS for a second, I have on my computer a lot of the files that you would be downloading because you need them in order to install. Okay, so I've got Ninja 8 videos and setup. I've got Ninja 7 videos and setup. And in there, like let's look inside Ninja 7, inside that folder are the files I downloaded. I downloaded the trap trade. I downloaded the pivots. Okay, I downloaded the help file. Understood. And if you need any of those files, look, you could just send an email to support@joebracketbreakout.net. I'll write it down for you. And I'll send you the file. It's not a big deal. If you need me to send you a file, if you couldn't download something or something goes wrong, I can send it to you. It's not a big deal. Or if you look at the email that I sent, the welcome email, you can share it off my Google Drive. Everything is there for you to have, okay? So if you have a problem figuring out how to get it, don't worry. Send me an email. I'll make sure you have access to everything. So let's assume you're a new member. You've gone to NinjaTrader. Let's cover a little bit what you do if you're a new member. You go to ninjatrader.com. You can call them. They will set you up. They will be your broker. They will give you the credentials that you need to subscribe to data, which you need. You need either CQG or Rhythmic. You need data. You need the platform. You have to make a decision. Do I want to pay yearly for the platform, which is $9.95? Do you want to pay quarterly, which is $180 per quarter? It auto renews. Do you want to pay semi-annually at $330? They're very nice at Ninja. If you do one of those things, they will let you prorate it. Let's say you're paying quarterly and you decide to go lifetime, they'll prorate what you paid towards the $9.95, which is lifetime. Okay, so Ninja is not free, but it's a pretty reasonably priced platform. We chose Ninja because that's what the strategy appeared to work best on. We're happy with Ninja. We are going to have new platforms. There's no way that any company would want to stay with just one platform for their whole life. There's always new things coming out. So let's assume that you've at least gotten far enough that you know how to download NinjaTrader and you got it onto your computer. Okay, I have to assume that you can do that because otherwise we'll never get out of here. So this is my platform for NinjaTrader. Okay, when you start, NinjaTrader comes up just like this. Okay, it comes up just with what we call the control center. I have no strategies in here. Okay, and the way I don't have to prove it, you just have to trust me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how do you load a strategy. That's step number one. But I'm going to leave my files on my other screen. You don't need to see. You need to make sure you know where your downloads are so you can find them. Okay, that's very important because what you're going to do is you're going to import, and I always forget where it is. You're going to go to utilities and import a Ninja script. That's step number one. You're going to import a Ninja script. It's going to ask you where it is. Mine is on my desktop, and mine is in Ninja 7 Videos and Setup. And I'm going to bring in the bracket breakout trade. So I just double click on it. Oh my goodness. Are we going to have a day that nothing is going to work? Because that would be horrifying. So let's do it a different way. Let me go to my VPS. That's why I do multiple things. Go to my VPS. I'll do it all on here. Hopefully it'll work. I've never even seen that error before. So I've clicked NinjaTrader 7. You want to use the 64-bit version if you're using a new computer, okay? Once again, you're not going to see anything but the control center. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Utilities. I'm going to import a Ninja script. It's going to ask me where it is. It's on my desktop. Ninja 7 Videos, and I'm going to import the bracket breakout trade, and it's going to work. You're going to get this NinjaTrader successfully imported. Now I'm going to do the same thing. File, Utilities, import Ninja script. It's an assembly. They call a Ninja script an assembly. I'm going to import the trap trade. Might as well do it all at once. It says success, and I'm going to import the pivots. Utilities, import Ninja script. Let's bring in the pivots also. Okay. So now I've got 3 things that have successfully loaded. Now what you're going to do is create a chart. And of course, everything goes wrong when you're doing a demo and when you're doing something important. So, but it doesn't matter. That's why I have a backup. I'll use my VPS as my backup, which is perfectly fine. So now keep in mind, we've downloaded the strategies, we've downloaded the pivots. So the first thing you do is create a chart. You got to know how to create a chart. So you go to File, you go to New, you go to Chart. But let's back up for a second. Go to Instruments, go to uh, Tools, and go to your Instrument Manager, and make sure that you have a couple of instruments. So right up here on the top, you have to know how to bring in an instrument. So for instance, if I want to bring in well, let's say gold for December, I type the prefix, which is GC, and search. I can click here. And now down here at expiry, these are the contract dates that it's bringing in. I want to make sure 12/17 is there because I do a lot of testing last month and the month before. Gold was using the contract 12/17. You can see here on the left, my default instrument list already has gold, so I will get an error when I try to bring it in by clicking this left arrow. It'll say it's already in the list. But if it's not in the list, you will not get that error and it will just move it in, okay? And it's not really an error, it's just instrument is already in the list, that's fine. We're gonna okay it because otherwise it will not stay. The help file does not get imported, Jim. That's just for you to read, okay? It'll just give you an error if you try to import it. So that's how you add instruments. You go to Tools, you go to the Instrument Manager, and this is version 7. This is probably the easiest way. For instance, if you want to do the euro, I know that the prefix is 6E. I type 6E in search, okay? The current contract usually shows up down at the bottom, 318. It's not in, so I click this left arrow and you see it move down. It's in now, okay? 6E, 318, but you must okay it so that it remains in your instrument list. That is my default instrument list, okay? That's how you add an instrument. You can also add an instrument to a chart, or you can also put instruments on charts that you have in your default list, but I'll show you that in a minute. So we've imported our strategies. Now you have to figure out what to do with them, okay? It's not hard to import them, but you got to figure out, what do I do now? So first thing you want to do for Ninja 7 is create a chart. So go to File, go to File, go to New, and go to Chart, okay? It's not complicated. I'm going to go with oil because I know I've got some oil stuff going. Let's go right now for 218. That's the current contract. So you just double click it. It must show up below this line or it will not create the chart. If you look to the right, the type of chart is a minute chart. It's a candlestick chart. It's 3 wide. You'll see what it means. We don't use the instrument settings for our software. We use default 24/7. That has to do with the session template, okay? We're going to use default 24/7. You just have to find it. It's there. Okay, then okay it. And it now creates a chart with the data on it. I believe the markets are open now. Am I right? They are. I can see them moving. If you put your mouse at the top of the chart, you can move the chart. With Ninja 7, you cannot have your chart trader open. See up here these icons? That closes chart trader. That opens it. You cannot adjust the strategy on a chart where chart trader is open. That's why we create the next chart. new, file, new, chart. If you link them, first I have to do this, forgive me. Let's create it, 218. We're going to do 218 because we did 218 over there. We're going to do the same exact thing here on instrument settings. Go down to default 24/7. There is a lot to cover here. Don't panic if you don't remember anything. I'm recording this. You can watch this, okay? Anything I say will be remembered and recorded. So default 24/7. Okay it. It's going to be a smaller chart. If you put your arrow, make it smaller. Get rid of the chart trader. We don't want chart trader on this particular chart because this is the chart we're going to use to adjust our strategy. We don't want chart trader on that chart in NinjaTrader 7, okay? So right now, all we've got are charts. Go to File, go to Workspace, be a lunatic like me, and call it Job Trade Room, okay? I call it Job Install, but I would call it Save Workspace as Job Trade Room, okay? Let's call it that. Now I'm going to go down to Workspace. I don't want any other workspaces open, okay? So if you go to Open Workspace, it'll show you all the other workspaces and you can delete them, okay? You don't need them open. And if you want to save them, then don't do this. Just make sure they're closed, okay? I don't need them, not for this. Okay, so right now we've just got one workspace open and that's it, all right? That's all we've got. Both of these charts are the same. They're both 1 minute charts. We're really just using them in conjunction with each other. Let's link them together. Up here is this L. Make them the same color and they will be linked together, okay? So if you change one, if you go to gold on one, it'll go to gold on the other, okay? So now, how do you get the strategy on the chart? It's not really that big of a deal. It's not a big deal at all, but a couple of things. I like to right-click the chart first. Very important. After you load the strategy, you must load in Ninja version 7 our utility programs. So go to Indicators, right-click the chart, go to Indicators, click it once, and then up top, you'll see JOBB Trap Trade Utility. Click it twice. Bracket Breakout Utility. Click it twice. Apply it and OK it. Okay? Just do that on your trading chart, on your chart that has the chart trader on it. That gives you your arrow, and that's very important. It's just a utility that's part of the program. Now, see what I'm doing here? If you hold down the control key and your left mouse button, you can move the price up and down. Very handy little trick. If you hold just the left mouse button, then it does the widening. There's probably a million different ways to do the same thing in Ninja. I do things the way I do them. Everybody does things the way they do them. It doesn't really matter. Do things the way you want. It's okay, all right? There's no strict rule that you have to do it my way. My way is not the only way. The way that works for you is the way that's best. To get a strategy on the chart is real easy. You right-click the chart on the right, okay? Right-click it. Strategy is on the chart, okay? Click it, and it comes up. There's our strategy. It came up. I'm going to just stretch it out because it has a lot of parameters. Most of them you don't even have to worry about. Double-click Job Bracket Breakout, Joe Bracket Breakout. Double-click it. Okay, everybody with me? You're all following me? Anybody got a problem? Everybody having any trouble following what I'm doing? I assume the speed I'm going is fine. So we right-clicked the chart, we clicked on strategy, and all of our settings came up. That's it. Our strategy is now going to get placed on the chart. Let me show you how. But make sure you double clicked the breakout trade if you're using the breakout trade, so it shows up down at the bottom, and make sure that you've highlighted it so it's dark so that you can adjust the parameters. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we're going to trade a 2 bracket oil trade. We're not doing anything with the range trade right now, so we'll go right to parameters. Buttons on the chart are true. That has to do with buttons that we show in some of our trades. We leave that to true. Let's say you want to make that default, always true. So you right click it, set it to default, okay? That's how I leave that. But that happens to be our default. What came up today is our default. I've learned from the programmer that break-even trigger ticks should be set to 0. So I'll set it to 0, right click it, set it to default, and trigger ticks also set to 0. In the old days, we used to think, hey, if you get that many ticks of profit, it would be awesome, but it has to do with one of the buttons, so we do it differently now. Now, always, of course, when you're doing what we're doing now, make sure you're in sim mode, not in live mode, okay? Now, I'll show you something else after. So let's say we're just creating a very simple oil trade. We have no indicators on the chart, no nothing. If our bracket is broken by 2 ticks above the high or 2 ticks below the high, we're going to enter a trade at 1:34, we'll say. So it's military time, so it's 13:34. I'll make it 13:35, so while I'm talking, it'll probably happen. It's a breakout trade. If you click that field, you have a choice of breakout, range, or one-click range trade. There are so many different things you can choose from the various fields. You'll test the various fields. Some of them will give you options, some won't. Break-even delay seconds has to do with the break-even profit ticks. I'll get into that later. Right now, I'm going to do 2 positions, okay, for this trade. I'm going to do a target of 5 ticks. I'm going to do a target of 10 ticks. It's all adjustable by you. I'm not going to reverse if stopped out. My stop is going to be 10 ticks. I'll talk about the target moving later, and I'm going to go down to general, and I'm just going to enable the trade. The trade is in sim. I'll make enabled true, and hopefully, if I've done everything right, I'll get my logo, which means that my machine ID has been activated, and my trade will show brackets over here on the left at 135. Now, I probably should have done it at 134. So how do you change it? What do you do to change it? Right click the chart, go into strategies, stretch it out a little bit, highlight the strategy by making it dark. You have to change your enabled from true to false. Apply it, and now I can adjust. When everything is dark, I can adjust it. It's 133. You know, it's going to be 135 before we know it. It's already 134, so let's leave it the way it is. We'll set it to new. I'll show you how I get my clock. I'm going to show you everything, so don't panic. Right now, the trade's on. Here's my clock. I'll show you how to install it. This is the clock you see in all the videos. We're going to hang loose for a second, and we're going to wait for this trade. What's going to happen is our brackets should appear. The one thing I should have done that I didn't do is anytime you install strategies, anytime you install anything, it's not a bad idea to reinstall your Ninja. Shut it down and reinstall it. That's a good idea just to get your Ninja reset. I like that idea. If for some reason you don't get brackets, and that could happen because we just installed all these strategies. If you don't get your brackets, then just shut down your Ninja, reinstall it. That solves 99% of all problems. Now, what did I do? Okay, here's our brackets. If we get a movement, and oil's pretty darn slow right now, if we get movement above or below 1 or 2 ticks, that arrow is our current price. It should use our settings in the trade and set up our trade. So let's give it a second. We'll have some fun watching it. I probably could have done just 1 tick. I could do replay also because I have some trades that I know. There it goes. It filled us to the short side. It put our stop in up top. It puts my targets in, all right? And that's our arrow. It shows us where we were filled, our first target, our second target. If I would have chosen 3 targets, I'd have a third target. That's how easy it is to put on a trade, okay? We've put on the trade. I could have canceled the trade by clicking the enabled button. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger so you could see the word enabled. Okay, I could have canceled the trade before we got filled by just clicking that enabled button. Now, that's going to not close you out of the trade if you click that button now. The close button will close you out of the trade, okay? With Ninja, I can move my stop. If I don't like my stop, I can move it higher. I could move my stop lower, okay? I could do all sorts of different things. Fair enough? We don't use ATMs, Aspen. Our program is the ATM. Why do you need an ATM if we've already set up the targets, the stops, everything? That's the whole point of our software, is to avoid an ATM. So I wanted to show you how easy it is to put a target, to put a trade on. That's how simple it is. Who does not understand? Yes, our trade is automated. The entry is completely automated, as you saw. If you want to cancel a position, you can just hit the X and it cancels the position. I've now canceled the trade. I'm still in it though. Don't forget, you want to get yourself out of the trade, okay? If by accident you hit the enable button again, it'll throw you in a trade. So don't be a lunatic and hit the enable button over and over, okay? Once you've hit the enable button, just hit it once and that's it. So that, my friends, was our first trade publicly in the trade room, okay, for beginners. Right click strategies. Let's do something else. What if you want to get rid of this mess? Go to tools, go to options, go to simulator, reset the simulator, Sim 101, okay it, clear the history, okay it, and now we're back to fresh, okay? You don't have to delete the strategy already in. If you want to, you can go to right click. We already deleted it because we reset the simulator, but to delete the strategy, you right click it. Let me show you the whole screen, and you have the remove button, and you hit the remove button, okay? So if you want to delete the strategy, you can. It's easier to leave it most of the time, unless you're going over to the trap trade, you'll probably just want to leave it, okay? And you can remove text from the chart also. There is a way to remove text from the chart. So that's the way you put on a strategy. How do you put on a trap trade? The exact same way. You double click it. But the key is, before this trade, we send you a report that shows you what to do with this trade. Okay? So let me show you what our report looks like. For instance, we have a report. The first thing that we give you is we give you a weekly report so that you know what's happening in the coming week. Okay? I happen to do a lot of things to my own, to the HIRAs on my own, but this is what our average weekly HIRA report looks like. It shows you the week, the date, whether there's a trade, Tuesday's trade, what the risk of the trade is, what time it is, what instrument we're trading. Wednesday was a busy day, had a lot of trades that day. Thursday we had 2 trades. So the first thing we have is a weekly hira. After the weekly hira, then you get a daily hira for that week. Okay. So for instance, we knew that we were trading Australian CPI that night, or we knew also that we were trading. All right. That night, the only trade was Australian CPI. It gave us our bracket setting, how many seconds we wait until we canceled the trade. It gave us our stop amount. We have something we call slippage settings. We'll get into that a little bit. And if there's warnings about what time you should enter a trade, we have warnings about trade entry time. Okay. So I want to take a minute. I've been talking, I've been teaching a lot. I know I've been throwing a lot at you. Let me take a minute. Who has a question? Okay. Do we keep any kind of performance data based on your most conservative settings per trade? If not, would there be an area where we can put it in how we did? Stephen, right now we haven't done that yet. Partially because the trade room, all our technology is so new, but we've created a new website where all of those things can now be either placed in the blog or in the forum. And we welcome people to post their trades. We welcome you to post what happened to you. We want you to post. We want you to get involved. It's set up the NT ATM. My guess, Jim is asking about probably a very old video, Jim. We're not doing it that way anymore. So I would probably ignore it. I would probably ignore it. Aspen is saying that he did not see the downloads that that I showed. So let me see if I can show you the downloads that I showed. Let me start from scratch. Let me shut down my interface for a second. When you exit Ninja, if you want to keep your settings, go to File, go to Exit, and say Yes to all. If you're happy, it'll keep all your files. All right. And then the clock, once I show you how to install the clock, to adjust the clock, you put the cursor dead center into the middle of the clock. The right mouse button lets you make adjustments to the clock. Analog clock, the type of clock that it is. Okay. You could do things like, for instance, right side, you could do a modern clock. These are things that you spend your own time on. I don't think they're that important for what we're doing here now, in all honesty. Okay. We use the what do we use? Circle World. Okay. So for now, I'm going to close it. I'm going to look for that software area real quick. I should be able to find it. Give me 1 second to just see if I can find it. You're saying that your download area was different than ours. So let me find it for you. Bear with me. We have a lot of stuff that we do. So I want to apologize if sometimes there's a little bit of dead space, but there's dead space because we have a lot of stuff that we want to show you, and it's absolutely impossible to know what people are going to ask, and it's impossible to know what people are going to want to, exactly. It's impossible for me to know what to expect in advance. So that's why I want to do it off the cuff. So I answer your questions the right way. So when you leave here, at least you feel like you know what you're doing. Okay. So the link is this particular link, Aspen. And if for some reason you didn't get it, send me an email and I'll send that link to you. But you should have received it. And yes, we are recording it. Okay, we are recording it. You should get this page. This page allows you to log in with your credentials. Okay, once you log in with your credentials, okay, once you log in with your credentials, then you're going to get the software page to download. Okay, so you were going to the wrong site. We don't have if we have it on the NinjaTrader site, we were giving people shortcuts, Aspen. So going to the NinjaTrader site to get that link, I don't think that's the best way to get it, to be honest. Just take it out of your email and then log in and you'll have the downloads right at your hand. Okay, you'll have the download right at your hand. Fair enough? Any other questions before I keep going? Because there's a couple of things that I want to backtrack and talk about that I think are important. How do you get the data? You know, you have to talk to the broker and you want to tell the broker, well, what data do you want? So we recommend at a minimum that you subscribe to the CME. Chris, I'll get to that question. We want you to, so we would think it makes sense, subscribe to the CME bundle. It's got bonds in it. It's got gold in it. It's got the ES, the YM, almost all of the popular indexes that you want to trade. Okay. So you can get away with signing up for the CME bundle. It's only $21 a month. Then you also need a clearing broker. Clearing brokers are free. Okay. We don't pay for the clearing broker, but somebody has to hold your money. You don't want the broker who's also your platform provider holding your money also. So they use clearing brokers. And most people choose Phillips or Dorman. Most of us choose Dorman. I use Dorman. A lot of international people use Phillips. Somebody smart who knows more than me, tell me why you'd use Phillips as opposed to Dorman. Okay. And then in terms of data feeds, you could use CQG, you could use Rhythmic. I believe personally, and it's only my belief, it's not a guarantee. I like Rhythmic. I like the fills better than what I get on CQG. Okay. So I use Rhythmic as my data feed. So let's backtrack a little bit. You've downloaded the strategy. You look like this. Okay. Things look like this. You need to set up a connection, right? How are you going to get connected? So one of the first things you got to do is go to account connections. So go to tools, go to account connections, and then you're going to add one. Okay. Add an account connection. Create a new connection. Go to next. Give it a name. Name it whatever you want. You know, call it Fred. I don't care. Just so you know what it is. Okay. Then who's your provider? Is it going to be NinjaTrader Continuum CQG? Is it going to be Rhythmic? Okay. Are you going to use Kinetic? Some people use interactive brokers. So you make those choices. Those are the choices you make. I can't tell you what to do about those. I use Rhythmic. I don't really use a backup data feed right now. And I do connect on startup, but I'm not going to do this on startup because sometimes if you have too many things connecting on startup, it gets in the way of downloading replay data. Okay. You're right, Aspen. You cannot use Rhythmic because you're grandfathered by Ninja and using AMP. And CQG is absolutely good enough. I'd say 30% of our customers are using it. So don't let me scare you. CQG is perfectly fine. Okay. So going back, you give it a name. Good. I want you to feel good. I don't want you to feel bad. Backup data feed connection, you don't have to have one. Connect on startup, usually you choose yes. And I want the historical data. I want to be able to go back and bring data in that I want to look at for testing and things like that. And then I'll next it. Then you type in your credentials. These are the credentials they gave you. Okay. You get those credentials from your broker. All right. I don't have those credentials for you. Okay, keep that in mind. I can't give them to you. I can't show you mine because if I show you mine, you're going to be able to get into my account. All right. So you go through all of that. It won't let me do it, but I promise you, if you just follow those questions and you choose a system, Rhythmic O1, if you're using a VPS and you're using Rhythmic's own VPS, they tell you use the colocation 75. Okay. Most people will tell you what to use. It's very important that they tell you what to use. If you're confused, call them. If you're confused, don't trade live. Okay. Very important. So you've created a connection. I created a connection. I call it JOBB, and you can call it whatever you want. Okay, it doesn't matter, but you have to create a connection, you have to buy data, and you have to have a clearing broker. Those are things that you just have to do. If you don't do them, you won't be able to trade. Some brokers, if you just want to try out our system, they'll give you everything as a demo. Okay, even live data for a couple of weeks. So you could buy our system, for instance, rent our system for a couple of months or for a month, not actually buy Ninja. They'll let you try it out for a couple of weeks. So some people do that as well. You can get started slowly. You could get started fast. It's up to you. All right. And I do want to point out that we have a tremendous amount of new features in our Ninja 7 software. Just showing you the strategy, going into the strategy. The breakout program is the one we've been working on the most. Okay. We've added the range trade. It's a whole new way of designing your own trades. And now in entry type, I'll show you a little video. We've added a one-click range trade. We've changed the range trade. And I will absolutely walk through high-res, no problem. Aspen, just remind me if I forget. You can do a breakout trade, a range trade, and a one-click range trade. My point now is you can trade discretionarily any time of the day with the range trade. You could trade opens, you could trade closes, you could trade any time frame that you design. That's what the range trade does. And I will definitely walk us through a range trade. Okay. So the one click range trade is a very big, exciting new feature. I'll show you that as well. Okay. Another big new feature is we now support 3 positions. So instead of 2, when you make a trade, you can have 3. All right. And that's awesome. To me, that's awesome. It's much more professional, in my opinion. My goal this year was to make our software more professional, and I really feel like we've done that. So for now, I'm going to put 3 positions on just for fun. And I'm not even looking at what I'm doing, and I'm just going to put on a one-click range trade because the beauty of this trade is it uses all of our existing settings. And you have these buttons now. You just click one-click range trade twice because Ninja's crazy. You don't click once, you click twice. And now our trade is there, right? Or almost there. But you got to click it again twice. And then the trade will take place according to your settings in the strategy settings. Okay? So you can do a one-click range trade. Let's see, you see, and watch how you could turn it off and on. Turn it off by hitting the enable button. But hit the enable button again. And now watch what happens when you hit the one-click range twice. I always forget that. It will draw the range and put the trade on. So let's say you see a market breaking out and you want to grab a piece of it while it's exploding. You can do it pretty quickly. That was not the original idea of this trade. The original idea of this trade was if we saw I'm going to cancel this trade. The original idea, of course, I have 6 orders going. It doesn't know how many orders I have going. Let me cancel everything. The original idea of this trade was to see a market that was consolidating and to have a look back. And I'll show that to you because it's critical to the way this trade works. We'll probably have a webinar just on this trade alone, no joke, because it's got so much depth to it. If you're in this trade, you've got a new field here called one-click bars look back. You could look back 10 bars, 20 bars. It could be Renkos. It's not related to a strategy. It's strictly related to bars. It could be any bar that you want. It's an incredible bonus, in my opinion. It has nothing to do, really, it has everything to do with news trading, and it has nothing to do with news trading. Okay, but it's just a fantastic feature that one of our members said, hey, why don't we do this? And I thought it was a fantastic idea. And we thought it was a great thing to do, so we did it. We had the programmer do it. And it uses all of the features that are in your setup so that you could have a setup for range trade. You could have a setup for range trade, okay? You could have it there permanently, and then you could just use the one-click range trade anytime you want, all right? Anytime you want. So I'll go over that. We'll go over that in the trade room over and over and over because this is something new for us and we're learning about it ourselves, okay? So far, what have we covered? We've covered how do you get the strategy on the chart. Important things to me. We have tools that we use. Once the range is on the chart, it doesn't get adjusted, Aspen. It gets adjusted in the back end of it, okay? It gets adjusted in the strategies. The default might be 20, for instance. If 20 is your default, that's fine. Then 20 is your default. As long as you enable it, that's what it'll give you. It'll give you 20, a look back of 20. Might be bars, might be minutes. You don't know what it's going to be, okay? And what you could do also is, if you do what I just did and cancel it out, you could watch it and see how it moves, which is very, very interesting. So you can make it grow as the market is changing. And then you could say, hey, now's the time for the trade and put it on there. Okay. So you could disable it, enable it again, click it, and it's back on. So we don't even know everything it can do yet. That's the honest truth. It's so new to us. We literally got it just when you got it. It's very important that you understand that. I'm going to reboot my Ninja just because I've loaded so many things into it. I just want to restart it real quick. So to reboot it, you just click it. So I want to show you a couple of things that are very important in the trade room that we use every single day. We use our clock every day. We use our timer every day, and I want to show you how to get them, okay? I've sent them to you, but what do you do to use them, okay? Normally when the strategy comes up, I click the word strategy in Ninja version 7, and it just gives me a cleaner looking setup. Topmost clock is the name of our clock, and that's what's down here. And that's what gives us our clock here. I have sent everybody a file, or we have a file being shared with Google Drive called Topmost Clock. You just install it like any other program, and then what happens is, if you click on your Start button, you will see Topmost Clock, left mouse button, and you can drag it and pin it to your taskbar like I've done here, okay? There's also a file. Let me just look at one thing real quick. There's also a file called D4 Time 531, Dimension 4. Just install it. Install Dimension 4. It's just like any other program you'd ever use. Install it, and then in your Start menu, you click the Start button. You'll see Dimension 4. Left mouse button, drag it, click it to your taskbar. Okay? And now I have Dimension 4 on my taskbar. If I double click it, I can now press OK if my time is off. And synchronized here is what you're looking at. You want that to be changing at least once or twice. That might mean you might have to click it 30 times. I don't care. If you have to click it 30 times, you click it 30 times. How do you know what your time is? you got to go to the website time.is. Time.is, okay? So you just very simply time.is. Nothing could be simpler other than getting rid of all the stuff you have in there before. Time.is, and it syncs you and tells you that your time is exact. If your time is not exact, then we go to dimension 4, click it a couple of times till it shows up, and okay it, looking for the synchronize box to change. Okay? You're constantly looking for that synchronized box to change. If it never changes, it's a funny thing. On my VPS, it does not work the same as it works on my regular computer. But on your VPS, what you want to do is change your servers. Okay. And if you change your servers and then click OK, you'll see that sometimes they will then move and it will sync your time. So you'll have to change your servers with time.is. Okay. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Chris is asking if I recommend a VPS or VPN. If you live overseas, I probably would. The funny thing is, we do know some people that use a VPS and a VPN, and their fills are so-so. They're not that much better than ours, but there are many people, and I say many, that use a VPS and they get better results than we do. What's interesting is we are testing and looking at something that Amazon is doing that we will discuss in our trade room about VPSs. But for now, people use speedy trading servers. They use mytradehost.com. They use the omni.net, which is Rhythmic's VPN. And VPNs are one of those things. If Google is not your best friend, then you are going to be in trouble, because Google should be your best friend. If you need to find information, reviews about VPSs, besides the ones that we know that some people are using, there's other things out there that we may not be aware of. So keep that in mind. There's more to life than just the people that are in our trade room. There are people that are doing other things. So keep that in mind. I do not use a VPS more than not when I'm at home, because I have very fast internet. I have 150 internet, and I get fills that seem to be very similarly close to what people are getting on their VPS. So sometimes I do use the VPS. It'll also often depend on the trade. If it's a very fast, high risk trade, then I'm more prone to using a VPS than I am on a slower trade, a more relaxed trade. Let me just make sure I've grabbed everybody's questions so far. Is everybody staying with me? Are you with me? Any questions so far? We know how to set up a strategy. We know how to save a workspace, right? You go to File, you go to Workspace, and you save it and give it a name. Save workspace as. And make sure you only have one open. If you have two open, close one of them by going to the Close Workspace. With news trading, you want your resources as low as possible. You do not want to be trading with multiple workspaces open, okay? You want your workspaces closed, except for your news trading workspace. Also, you don't want programs running in the background. For instance, you see this little arrow on the bottom? You can see programs that are running in the background. You can right-click them and close them. If you don't know what the program is, like, look, I just closed my clock, so I don't want to close that, okay? You need to know what the clock is. Chris, if you're running Ninja version 7, and you're going to install the new version, I would uninstall and I would delete my template. And Chris brings up a very important issue. Templates. You don't import templates. You import only the files that I showed you. Strategies, you import pivots, templates are moved and put into a certain place. Let me show you where. Okay, so for instance, from us, whether it's Ninja 7 or Ninja 8, it doesn't matter. You're going to get a template from us. You've gotten a template from us, or you're going to save a template. When you save a template, you don't have to worry. But a template, you go to this PC, you go to Documents, and you go to either NinjaTrader 7 or NinjaTrader 8. If I go to NinjaTrader 7 and I go to the folder Templates, and then Chart, that's where I put my JOBB template. Let me do it again. I go to this PC, I go to Documents, I go to NinjaTrader 7 or NinjaTrader 8, I go to Templates, and I go to Chart. And then I copy the template into that file folder. That's so that when I have the strategy loaded or I have the platform loaded, I can bring my template into a chart very easily. And I'll show you how by doing this. It takes a second to load. I'm actually at a place where my internet is not 150. They're a little bit, maybe 100. But I'll get my charts up, and it's amazing how 100 can seem slow now. It's incredible. I'll right-click the chart, go down to Templates, and then just load it. Okay, I'm not going to because I want to show you how to make your own template. You're much better off knowing how to make your own template than loading mine. It'll only save you 10 minutes. It's not that big a deal. So I like certain things on my template. So I go to right click and I go to indicators. The most important thing to me in Ninja 7 or Ninja 8 is the pivots, the JOBB pivots. So I'll double click them and I'll OK it. And hopefully they are there. They're just not the right color. They'll be the right color when I load my template. And they will be moved in so that you can see them. Okay? So trust me, right now there are pivots there. You can see the red ones and they're labeled, but you have to, here's a way that you can change the width of them on your own. If you just click on the template so it looks goofy like that, right click Properties, go to Width, and make it 50 and watch what happens. And the funny thing with Ninja is it doesn't always work. Don't ask me why. Today it's perfect. I'm a genius. And see how they moved way in so you can read them? Now you can read them. So that's the first thing I like on my chart. I love the pivots. I don't like blue pivots because I can't read them. So I could click a template, right click it on Properties. I could scroll down a little bit. And the PP, my favorite pivot, I need to change that color by clicking Plots, the plus sign, and I need to make it black. Okay? And then I can close that. I could do the same thing to R1. I'm not going to do it to all of them because that's what you save in your template. All right? Apply it, okay it. And now eventually you'll see there's a couple of darker R1 and PP are more easily seen templates, not templates, but pivots. Okay. So that's number one. That's the first thing I like on my chart. The second most important thing I like on my chart is another indicator. Right click the chart, indicator, and I want the current OHL. That to me is critical. Double click it, okay it. Green is the high, red is the low, orange is Ninja's open, okay? Critical stuff for my magnet trades, okay? Critical. That I want. And then the other part that's our templates are some SMAs and EMAs. This is a total of 5. We have the 100, the 200, the 50, the 20, and the 13, okay? That's what's in our template. Let's see if my template is working. How do you load a template? Right click, go to Templates, Load, JOBB, okay. Do we have a working template? We do. I'm not overly pleased with my width, so I could fix the width, or I actually have another template that I made a long time ago called Good Pivots 99 or something like that. I don't have it on my VPS, so in this case, what we'll do is we'll go down, we'll scroll a little bit, we'll go to a red template, we'll go to properties, and we'll change the width to 50, okay, for today. Okay, and now we've got nice tight little templates, oil, which happens to be moving a little bit. It's almost closing time for oil. If you like the volume up and down indicator, you can use that. If you're going to use the consolidation trade, you might want to get rid of the volume indicator by just clicking on it and pressing remove. Click on one of the bars, click remove, go back to right click the chart, go to indicators, and we could bring in, say, the MACD, which is a pretty nice consolidation indicator. And there it is at the bottom. That's not a bad little setup for a consolidation workspace, okay? You could actually start there. You don't have to have your indicators and templates on your trading chart, on your adjustment chart on the right. You just don't have to do that, okay? So any questions? That covers a fair amount of stuff. So don't forget, we've covered the clock, we've covered sync, we've covered templates, where they go, workspaces, same thing as templates, but they go to the file folder called workspace, okay? You don't import your workspaces. So if somebody wants to give you a workspace, you could take it, but where do you put it? You go to this PC, you go to documents, you go to NinjaTrader 7 or 8, go to workspaces, and copy it into there, okay? And that's your workspace. Very easy to trade workspaces. Explain again the uses of the two charts. Jim, very simple. The smaller chart on the right, you just adjust your strategy there. That's all. You do all your adjustment there. You do your trading on the trading chart. Up here, you have the ability to turn off or on your chart trader, okay? How important is time sync while trading? Time sync is probably one of the most important issues of being a successful news trader. If your time sync is a mess, you must fix it. Okay, Aspen? You must fix it. If you need a new battery, get the battery. If there's something wrong with your motherboard, fix the motherboard. Time sync is critical. We have trades that if you're a hundredth of a second off, you could have a losing trade rather than a winning trade. If you're half a second off, the same is true. I cannot stress how important time sync is to a news trader, okay? It's critical, in my opinion, all right? 1.5 seconds ahead is unacceptable and must be fixed, okay? And there's no machine in the world that can't easily be fixed. That's the truth. And it should easily be solved with software. And if that doesn't work, Aspen, just download the program called Atomic Clock and run that program, and I'll bet you anything that will sync your machine. I just have never seen a machine that won't sync. I haven't seen it. Atomic, like atomic bomb. Okay? If you can't find it, just send me an email. I'll send it to you. All right? Let's take a look at Ninja 8 for a minute. All right? Ninja 8, something we spent a lot of money on. We did it for free for all of you. Chantal, that does not happen to me. That does not happen to me. Chantal is saying she's having a problem where something's disappearing on her chart. So Chantal, you and I will get together later, and I'll send you, make sure you have the right version of the program. Okay? That's what we'll check. That's what we'll check. Because that does not happen to me. I'm going to close down NinjaTrader version 7. First of all, are there any questions about Ninja 7? Running a trap trade is no more complicated than running a strategy trade. Let's get rid of the breakout trade. Let's get rid of the breakout trade by highlighting it and removing it. Let's double click the trap trade. With trap trade, you can ignore the first 4 fields. Okay, we don't use them. Buttons on the chart trader is true. We have 3 buttons we use in the trap trade. We have the close button, the adjust button, and the close the outer tier button. Okay, I'll explain that. You've seen me do that in a trap trade. We probably don't have enough hours in the day to do everything today. We probably should have had a 5-hour webinar. With the trap trade, the time of the trade is exact. If it's a 10 o'clock trade, you just put 10 o'clock on. Okay. If you want to test your strategy to see if you're authorized, just set your time to 0. It'll fire because it thinks the time has taken place. Set your time to 0, make it enabled, make sure you're in sim anytime you test, in sim. Apply it, okay it, and see it happen. It took off. It's going to do it again. There's our trap trade because it thought the time was 0. So it thought the time had already passed. It will test if you're activated. Set your entry time to 0. Set your entry time to 0. I would master the breakout trade first because we'd have a lot more breakout trades. Tier 1 and Tier 2 are the orders, Chris. They are the orders. Yes, in a sense, they are the ticks of profit. That's right. But sometimes that's the best way to think of it. They are the orders. They get adjusted before the trade. We usually adjust a trade above support and below resistance. We would do something like that. This one I would probably leave it alone so the trade gets filled. This one I might move 1 tick like so. But we will go over the actual trap trade itself when we have a real trap trade in the room because it's different. You do slightly different adjustments depending what the charts look like. Every trap trade has a slightly different adjustment, and it also depends on the instrument. An instrument that has more ticks, for instance, the British pound, your leeway with adjusting is higher. You can use more ticks in your adjustment than you can if you're trading bonds, which would have a smaller amount of ticks that you're allowed to adjust. You're not allowed to adjust 40% of the tier. That's too much. The general rule is you can make an adjustment of around 10 to 15% of your tiers. So if you have a tier of 10 and you're trading bonds, you don't want to adjust more than 2 ticks. 10, roughly, that's even 20%, but I would say 2 ticks is okay with bonds. Okay. Now, Ninja has some anomalies. If you cancel a trade by hitting the enable button and turning off the trade by turning the check mark off, it doesn't always close all your positions. You have to manually X them out sometimes. So be aware as a trader that sometimes platforms have anomalies. That happens. So Aspen's been begging me to show you a HIRA. So let me show Aspen a HIRA. All right. Let me show you a HIRA. It's so simple, Aspen. There's nothing to it. We might have a HIRA, for instance, let's do natural gas because it's a very simple HIRA. This is what you'll get the day before natural gas. We're changing a lot at JOBB, and we do not do a lot of double peaks and things like that anymore, Aspen. I would almost say that you can look at this if the dates are very current, like 2015, 2016, then you could pay serious attention to the way that a peak is going to work. If the date is like 2013, like the natural gas trade, I would be very careful because natural gas doesn't move 108 ticks anymore. And that's why the trade room is so important. These are the things that we are constantly making you aware of in the trade room, that natural gas moves much less than it used to move. Aspen, it doesn't move 64 ticks anymore for a first peak. It might move 25 ticks. Okay. So the important areas of the HIRA really start here. They start here. Recommended settings. I'm actually in favor of shrinking our HIRAs and making them smaller, and having text information about the trade, bracket distance, cancellation protocols, and stop protocols. I think it would make more sense for most of our trades. It would be a little bit more current. Okay. The natural gas trade uses a bracket of 7. We cancel in 10 seconds if we're not filled in 10 seconds, and we use a 15 tick stop. More importantly, we enter the trade, and Aspen, this is why time is so important, 59 hundredths of a second before the trade, before the report's released. Okay, so if you're off a second and a half, your natural gas trade's going to be off. You could wind up in trouble. You could wind up being on the right side of an error also. Okay, but very honestly, we're trading natural gas differently than the HIRA. It's one of those trades that has not made money for a very long time. And it's a trade that we know that, so that we're thinking of other ways to trade it. Here's a report that has been making money if you use the yen. Okay. This is a trade that works really well. It's one of our favorite trades, the ISM. It's been trading well. I do have to say, because I made a mistake, I got stopped out on it last month. Some of the HIRAs have out of date data on them. Because we're a small company, it would take 1,000,000 man hours to update every HIRA all the time. And that's why another reason why we created the trade room. The trade room is the place where information is the absolute, unequivocal, most current. Spike, reverse, dull, Daniel, is what those mean. How were the last 12 reports? Were they spikes or reversals? Were they dull? Were they indecisive? Uh, very often, dull and indecisive can sometimes be the same thing. Sometimes dull means it will fill and then just sit there. Indecisive might be a no fill. Okay. We have cancellation protocols. There are trades like if the oil inventory trade doesn't fill in 10 seconds, our cancellation protocol is 10 seconds. Cancel the trade. We probably don't want to be in that trade if it doesn't fill in 10 seconds. Okay? Oil is making an end of the day move right now at the close. It's being sucked into a magnet called the high of the day. Okay, for the second time. So the odds are, in my opinion, for a reversal right here on oil. I'm not saying trade it. I'm saying my opinion. The day before New Year's, one of the weirdest days to trade, but I think oil is going to reverse at the close. That's my guess. At least 10 ticks. At least 10 ticks. Let's go quickly to Ninja 8. I want to show you some things. We're already an hour, almost an hour and a half into this webinar. Does anybody have any other questions about NinjaTrader 7 before I move? I haven't covered half of the things that I wanted to cover. One thing that's important that I wanted to talk to you about is we have a feature that's brand new, that's really important and really powerful in the breakout trade. And it has to do with moving your stops. Now, if you put positions on, you could say something like, if you hit target 1, like let's say target 1 is 5 ticks, okay? If target 1 is 5 ticks, I can now say, well, if you hit target 1, make my stop move to break even -2 when it hits target 1. And the way that you do that is not like that, but it's like that. Break even -2, okay? Or you could say, make my stop move to break even. Or you can say, don't move my stop by making it a zero. Very, very powerful, very, very powerful stop moving now is part of all of our trades. Here's the thing to understand that's very important. Everything that we do incorporates all of the features of the previous version of the trade. We rarely, if ever, take features away. Our idea is to add features so you don't have to write ATMs. That's our goal. I don't want to spend my time writing ATMs. I want to spend my time trading. So that's our goal. Make the software so that it is the ATM. Okay. Handling stops, very, very critical new feature. But people are also confused about how do you use the break-even trigger ticks. If you're trading a market, and you could be trading a strategy, you could be trading discretionarily, but if the market moves 10 ticks, you want to move your stop to break even plus 2. That's what the break even trigger ticks does. But keep in mind, that's after your bracket is filled. Okay. So even though we wrote 10 there, it actually has to move 12 ticks, 10 ticks profitable, break even plus 10, plus 2 for the bracket. So don't forget always to count your bracket when you're thinking about the break even and margins, not margins, and the break even profit ticks and strategies, your trigger ticks. The delay seconds in a very, very fast trade, you could delay that move for 5 seconds or 3 seconds by typing in the delay. And that's so Ninja sometimes can have an error where sometimes the market could move so fast that it doesn't know, it can't keep up with software and it doesn't know where your stop is. By slowing down your stop moves, that can prevent a strategy error. That's the idea of that. Okay. Let me show you a couple of things about NinjaTrader 8 because that's something new as well. All right. So I'm closing Ninja 7. There's so much for us to show you that you must come into the trade room on a regular basis. How do you get to the trade room? People want to know that. How do you get to the trade room? Let me show you. Create a window, of course. It's so easy, but sometimes it's the easy stuff that screws people up, right? So I have everything set up in my, believe it or not, I'm really old fashioned. I use Opera. I have everything in Opera, everything I do, everything. And I mean, I'm basically a very good person. I don't have anything bad on my machine. TheNewsTraders.com, that's our website. How do you get to the trade room? Right now, you just click instant access. However, I want to tell everybody that as of next month, we are not going to have a free trade room anymore. That's why you're a member. You get the trade room for free. You're going to have to go to JOBB Live, okay? JOBB Live, starting next month. Very simple. You're going to log in, and that's going to show you where all the trades are for the week. So that if you're not a member of our site, you can't drink our Kool-Aid anymore. We're tired of giving our lives away for free. We have had a free trade room. You know how many months our trade room has been free? It's been more than 16 months for free. So we think that it's time for people to take advantage of the trade room by paying a little bit for it. We are not greedy, okay? That's the one thing I will say is we are not greedy. And our members know that, right? So you go to thenewstraders.com to go to our website. Trade room, access our trade room. For now, for a week or two, that's the way it's going to be. I put up the best possible trade of the week. that I think is going to be a very good trade. Use the website, go to the blog. I am putting things on the blog, like Eric's ski trip. Okay. I mean, we are human beings and we want you to realize that, but a new software feature, all you got to do is click it. Never panic. Keep your cool. Come on. Get on this blog, people. 2 people are on it. We want you to use this stuff. If you don't use the stuff that we put out there, you're going to struggle more as to be a good trader. We want you to be a good trader. And I've said this over and over. What we excel in, what our main purpose is to teach you how to do it, not to have you follow me. I don't want you to follow me exactly all the time. There's trades I don't take because I'm really conservative, because I've got people in the room that have accounts that are too small, right? Aspen, on Tuesday, I want you to come into the room whenever you can. I haven't done the schedule yet, Aspen, so before we leave, we'll take a quick look, okay? There's a lot of trades next week. Next week is non-farm payrolls. It's the hottest trade of the year, and I have a safe trade for all of our members. I can't guarantee it to be safe, but Chantal and I have done a lot of testing, and we think we have a really safe trade trading the indexes on the non-farm payroll trade. What do you think of that? That's something we've never done before at thenewstraders.com. We never traded the indexes, I don't think. All right, NinjaTrader 8. You load it up just like you load up NinjaTrader 7, right? Very easy. How do you install a strategy? Go to New, go to Tools, go to Import. Ninja Script add-on. That's like a Ninja Script assembly, okay? Then you got to find the file, okay? Find the file that you downloaded. That's the key, right? And I'm going to actually install it right now. So I'm going to double click it. Hopefully it's going to work, which it always does, except when I'm in a webinar, okay? David, I don't know yet. You're asking me questions that they don't relate to the webinar. Stay focused. I'm not sure yet, honest. I'm not sure yet, but probably next week. David's asking when we're going to start trading oil live. Oil is one of the most risky trades. We are going to trade it live on a regular basis. It's going to be one of our free ones, but we're going to do it our way. And if that means you're going to have to wait for us, you're going to have to wait for us. And that's the one thing that maybe I drive people crazy a little bit by being a little bit too conservative, maybe. I know there's people out there that go, oh man, that guy doesn't trade live enough. But come on, show me people out there that are trading live and showing you their charts, right? And are getting stopped out right in front of your face like a human being without crying like a baby. And I'm telling you, you can't find very many people doing what we do. We are the real deal, folks, and we want you to succeed at it. I can't stress that more. That's why we're here, okay? And Aspen, you're saying the greatest things. He's overtraded. So patience is his new motto. I can't tell you how important that is. Aspen, I have found us new trades because I'm patient. If I wasn't patient and I didn't test them 10 times, I might have missed them. So patience is absolutely so important. So important. David, I'm just busting on you. You know that. If I couldn't bust on you, who would I have to bust on? You're always busting on me. So it's our relationship. Anyway, NinjaTrader 8. If you think I don't like the people that come in this room, you need to really check your life out, because I love the people that come into this room. And it's like I feel like I know you. I know what Arthur's going to say. I know that Arthur's going to make me bring up the 1 second chart, even though he's got it on his own machine. He's going to make me bring it up, and he's going to make me talk about it. It's just the way it is. And that's what I love about this stuff. It's like we have these online friends that we never would have had before. So NinjaTrader 8, you go to Tools, you go to Import, you go to Ninja Script add-on, which is an assembly. I added it. Okay, so let's do the bracket, the trap trade. I'm going to double click it and it's going to import the the breakout trade. Brian, I've probably said I've hated you 100 times, but you know I love you, and that's the truth. I think you're a great guy, and you've done so much testing for me. I can't thank you enough. And then you go to Tools, and you go to Import, and you go to NinjaScript Add-on, and we're going to get those pivots in there, right? So you got to know where your pivots were. You downloaded them. I sent them to you. If you can't find them, you'll send me an email, and I'll send them to you again. I don't get upset. You can't upset me. I love you. I want you to succeed. If you forgot where you put something, don't worry about it. Ask me. I will do it again. That's my job. Okay? It doesn't bother me. I'm going to import the pivots. So we've imported the trap trade, we've imported the pivots, and we've imported successfully the breakout trade. So this is what NinjaTrader 8 looks like. I am far from an expert on it. The easiest way, I am really bad at putting instruments on it. What I find is the easy is type the instrument in. So say you want the bonds, put your cursor in the middle, click it, type ZB space and 0318. Okay, and I now have the bond chart in NinjaTrader 8. Okay, and it's also up here. And when you do that, it gets added to one of your lists of futures that you can trade. Okay, so that's a good way. What's one way of entering instruments into NinjaTrader 8? Learning the platforms, it's really a question of going into their support videos, they have a million of them, and start working on it. But to do our strategies, that's what I'm here for. So we've loaded the strategies. Now you notice I've only got one chart, right? I don't have two charts like NinjaTrader 7. One of the nice things about NinjaTrader 8 is you can trade on the chart that Chart Trader is open on. Chart Trader has an icon up here that turns it off, hides it, or turns it on. Okay, so I leave it on. I'm not trading bonds right now. It couldn't be any slower. Let's look at oil, 218. Oil is always cracking. Look, was I right about oil going down at 230? I was right. I always like my clock. Did I make my clock white, folks? That's what I might have done. Let's see why it's not showing up. But it's not. So for now, I'm not going to waste time on it. It's okay. If something's not working, you figure it out. I don't want to spend the time on it because there's other things to do. Oil is on the chart. I want to show you how to do a strategy with NinjaTrader 8. You just right click the chart, you go to strategies, and then you could see the trap trade is installed, the breakout trade is installed. So let's double click the bracket trade. Oh, I see that I did make my clock white. Okay, you could barely see it over here. So let's change the color. Right, and what you do is you put your cursor directly in the middle, right click it, color. Let's set the analog color to yellow. Let's set the digital color to yellow, and that way it will work on both my Ninja 7 and Ninja 8. And we'll be in business with the clock. I feel naked without the clock. It's just a very, very important part of my trading. And I don't like yellow, so rather than waste time, I'll do it real quick one more time. Set the darn thing to black and just leave it for today. Okay, and then I'll show you how to adjust the strategy. It's real easy. Our stuff is easy to use. Like anything, it takes practice to be a good trader. Now, I accidentally entered it twice, so just click it once and remove it. It's not the end of the world. I did it twice, so no problem. Just click it again. Okay? You need it down at the bottom one time. highlight it, okay? Highlight it, and now I can adjust all the adjustments just like I did in NinjaTrader 7, okay? And to show you that it works, it has the range trader, okay? It's got all of the same features. If you've never used NinjaTrader before, my gut feeling is maybe learn with NinjaTrader 8. Why not learn with the platform they are going to put their largest amount of resources behind? If enough of the indicators are available that you like to use, if things are available that you're happy with, I would probably start on NinjaTrader 8, even though I like NinjaTrader 7 better. The mode, the entry type, it's a breakout trade, but you could see it's the newest version, range trade, one-click range trade. For you scroll way down to enable the trade. I don't know why the programmer made this tiny little button. I should have bugged him to death and made it a big button, but I didn't. So it's okay. Just make sure you're in sim. Now, my trade, there it is. It looks very nice on NinjaTrader 8. I like things on strategy. If you have it on strategy, you don't get inundated with too much information at once. I don't need all my executions at once. I don't need all my orders at once. I could do that after the trade, but I want to see my trade. I want to see my arrow. This is just a random nothingness trade. That's why nothing's happening. It's not a big news trade. But I just wanted to show you that NinjaTrader 8 looks very nice with our strategies. It works fine with our strategies. And there's something that I like, the break even button is there. We have a couple of features that I wanted to show you, and time is flying. I can't believe it. Arthur says NinjaTrader 8 is very smooth. People will enjoy learning on it. You can add new instruments. What I find to Aspen, because I have not figured out the exact proper way to figure out new instruments on NinjaTrader 8, you press the turn off the trade by turning off the check mark in enabled. Okay, that must be off for the trade to be off. Arthur, tell me real quick how to add an instrument properly to NinjaTrader 8. One way is you could click the chart and then just type, for instance, FDAX. I happen to know that 0318 is the current contract, okay? And there is the current DAX contract. So now the DAX will show up in my list of instruments 318 for NinjaTrader 8, okay? So click the chart, gold, GC 0218 is the current gold contract. I know that for a fact. That is the current gold contract, okay? I like the way NinjaTrader 8, when you hold the control button and the left mouse button, it moves up and down very smoothly, and it works all the time. I find that NinjaTrader 7 doesn't work all the time, okay? But I like what I see so far. Here's how you create the template. So, first of all, I'm going to get rid of any indicator that's there, because there shouldn't be, well, there isn't anything there. Just our strategy was there because I was using it. So you know what I like, right? I told you what I like. I created a template for people, all right? So there is a template for NinjaTrader 8 people. Where does a template go? This PC, it does not get imported. Documents, NinjaTrader 8, templates, chart, and the template is in there, and there it is, JOBB, NT8, NT8, okay? Here's how you create it on your own. You must know how to do this stuff on your own. Our critical aspects to me in my template and what I use in the trade room, right-click the chart, go to indicators, the first important indicator to me is the JOBB pivots. They're the key for me. They are the key. I love them. Click them until they show up down below. Okay them. Make sure they show up. They're there. If they're a little too thick for you, click it. Properties, and you can thin it out. Okay. Line weight, make it a 2 if you don't like it. All right. Not the end of the world. Make it a 2. It's a little bit thinner. All right. So I like the pivots. Critical for me. The other thing that I must have the indicator, the current OHL, open, high, low. It's critical to me. I use these things called magnet trades, and they are magic trades. However, there's a missing element. They put the low of the day, Ninja's low of the day, and I stress that it's slightly different from our true low of the day. They also put Ninja's open of the day, and they also put Ninja's high of the day. The other thing that I like is I must have the 200 SMA. Okay, it's an indicator. SMAs are indicators. And this takes a couple of seconds to create. I'm not going to do all of them, people. I'm just not. It's too much time wasted. But the 200 is critical. So SMA shows up. Okay. It did show up. Let's find it. SMA. There it is. So I double click it. All right. And make the period 200. And our SMA period is always red. So scroll down. Click that little arrow so it points downward. Then you can scroll down a little bit more and you can change the color. Sorry. And I like it red. I like it red. Don't ask me why, but the 200 to me is always red. The width, I like a bit 2 maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I like 2. There's the 200. That's a critical moving average. Now, I do have a template floating around somewhere. Let's see if I could find it and put it, show you how to load it. So NinjaTrader 8, videos and setup. I should have a template in here called JOBB. Let's see if it's the right template. So I'm going to copy it, okay? Right click it and copy it. All right, right click it, copy it. Close that out. Where does the template go? How boring can you be? This PC, documents, NinjaTrader 8, templates, chart. Why they didn't just put it under templates? Somebody should have their brain examined. And I've already got it in there, JOBB NT8. Okay, I didn't call it NT. I didn't call it JOBB because I didn't want people confused. How do you load that template? Right click the chart. Go down to templates, load, JOBB NT8. Let's see if it's the right template. Loading a template will remove all strategies. Don't worry about that. We'll put the strategy back on. It's not a problem. I just want my template. Now, my template, believe it or not, it's loaded, but none of my price is loaded because sometimes Ninja just does that. But you get this little F, press the F, bingo. Everything is there, my template, all my moving averages, all my pivots, my current open, high, low, and close. The only thing that's missing is my chart trader. I might not have saved this template with my chart trader open. Okay, so I can get my clock moved over a little bit. And now, bingo, I've got a NinjaTrader 8 template and a trading chart. So now save that template. So you don't have to do this again, creating it. Go to template, save as JOBB NT8, okay? And there's your template. Save it. Don't make it default because if you're like everybody else, you probably have 80 other different rooms that you go to looking for the Holy Grail and they have a different template. So you don't want to call it default, or everybody's template and their mother's template will be the JOBB template. Okay. I'm going to stop, take a breather. I mean, I can't, I just need to take a breath. I want people to ask me a couple of questions. Aspen, I'm an old guy. I have to ask. Do you have these new millennium type communications? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? Yes. Aspen, we have a Twitter feed. We have a Facebook page. I do a lot of posting. We do a lot of posting. Instagram this year, it's one of my plans. Haven't been using it yet, but I'll start to get into it because people are into it. But we use YouTube a lot. We use um, Facebook all the time. So definitely we do a lot of that stuff, Aspen. We're definitely into social media. We know it's the future. We know it's important, and we know that people want to use it. So we're all about social media. All right. So I have in every email I send you, every single email I send you, we have a link for our social media. Okay. Stephen, you have the Holy Grail. Your reversal trades are the Holy Grail. That's the truth. Stephen has a special way of trading that we do together sometimes in the trade room. It's risky, but it's fun and it's sometimes successful. And everybody has a fantastic method of trading. John, if you're here, you wanted to ask me about trading in a certain direction. And I know you wanted to see that in NinjaTrader 7. Am I correct on that, John? I just want to make sure that I answer that question for you because I know it was important to you. Okay, Chantal, I'll see you tomorrow. John, if you're not hearing me, don't worry about this as being recorded. There he is. Okay. So for a second, I'm going to close down NinjaTrader 8. uh, we are going to learn together in the trade room a lot of the ins and outs of NinjaTrader 8. So don't panic. Don't worry if you don't feel comfortable with it. I don't feel totally comfortable with it. We're going to get comfortable with it by using it. And we're going to use it conservatively. So if we make a few mistakes, we're not going to get killed. That's the way that I do things. And I think that's one of the reasons people like the way I do things because I'm conservative. John, I'm going to load my NinjaTrader 7 and I'm going to show you a phenomenal new feature, what I think is a fantastic new feature of our software. You now have the ability to look at a market and say to yourself, holy crow, I think that this open is long. There's no way I'm going short at this open. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's wrong. It goes against everything that I believe in. Okay, I'm getting carried away. But we have this new feature that's kind of cool. You turn on, you get rid of your trap trade for now. We're not trap trading, we're breakout trading. So I'll remove it. I'll load my breakout trade. And I have this feature, if I could only remember where it is, it's called direction. And I now have, if I highlight my trade, I have the ability to tell it go long only. Okay. So the other thing I want to do is, you know what's happening? Hang on one second. Let me get my data. There it is. Okay, my data is appearing. Let me get my clock. Is all the way over here where I left it before. And lime green is a great color for the clock, Arthur. You really called that one. And rather than waste too much time, I can't control myself, you guys. I'm sorry. Lime green is perfect. So make your clock lime green. You're ordered. That's an order. Let's just leave it. So I now have the ability, John, with this trade. Actually, I think the market was a little bit negative rather than positive. I would have gone short. But for argument's sake, I went long only on this trade. And everything else about the trade, every single field that you would enter still applies, except you're only going to do it in the long direction. Long, not wrong. So your entry time, maybe I want to trade, maybe I want to trade this as a breakout trade. If I've ever seen a consolidation, this is a consolidation. However, if you know oil is probably done moving for the rest of the day. So trading this as a consolidation is not going to work. So point of fact, direction gives you the control. I hope I answered your question, John, to do your trades the way you want to do them in one direction only. Okay? One direction only. I'm just putting it back to both because both only is my default. Okay? I have a couple of little videos I'd like to show you all because I want to make sure that you see all these new features. We have a new feature called combined targets. Let's say you have a trade and it's not going that great for you. Sometimes that happens, okay? I did not want to open it with this particular program, so hang on. If it would only let me open it, I'm not going to waste time. Let's just let it do it. It's a question of volume. This particular program does not always let me control my volume, which I like to do. Okay, today it did. So this is a combined targets. Let me stop it real quick and just show you what I'm talking about. You've got two positions, okay? Two positions in your trade. Actually three, because the first is two and then one, but two of them already are combined. Now the trade's not working out that great, okay? So I've got this button that I can hit. If I think a trade is not working out that great, I can hit the combined target button and it makes it easier to get out of a profitable trade or a good or a bad trade because it combines the targets into the price closest to the current price. Okay? And it's going to happen when I press play. Here it goes. Watch carefully. Right here, those targets. Boom. All combined into one makes it easier to move the targets. Okay? Very simple, very easy. Nice new little feature that somebody might not even think about just to make your life easier. Brand new feature, combined targets. Let me show you another nice new feature that I like. Consolidation trade example. This is one of my favorites. I just want to make sure I have everything right for you. Okay. So you notice that you don't have a lot of activity going on in the index at that moment. So I thought to myself, not a bad time to have a consolidation trade. So I have a look back of 10. I had my settings already set. My consolidation went on. And the trade is 90% ready to go. All I have to do is hit click. Now I've clicked. My trade is ready. I'm not actually in a position yet because I haven't been filled. If I don't like what I see, I can just hit the cancel and I'm done. And if I was wrong, it's not consolidating and breaking out, then I can just wait and put the trade on 10 minutes later. Okay? Very simple. There are certain times of the day where markets consolidate and break out. Consolidate and break out. 9:15 to 9:30 on the indexes, 2 to 2:30 on oil. These are things that we're going to help you to find the times. But now you could see the market is breaking down. Oil is breaking down. The time, unfortunately, it's hard to see. You can't see it in the video what time it was, but it was probably, it was 3 o'clock. It was an afternoon trade. I'm just going by my chart. And now it's going up. I'm going to speed it up a little bit for you so we don't have to wait. And then bingo, it filled me. It broke out of the consolidation. It filled me. I was making a change, and I'm just watching myself because I don't remember what I actually did in the trade. I'm watching myself to see what I did. But it doesn't matter. The point I was making, I think I was just looking at something actually. I'm now up $80. My idea was right. Oil consolidated, broke out to the long side, filled me as it broke out of my range. I'm live. I was live for two positions. Okay. I was in the market for two. It filled me for one. And then I moved my second target into the price and got out of the trade for a profit of 130 bucks. I remember in about, it was less than 2 minutes. It was less than 2 minutes. Okay. I know it's a little bit fast, a little bit tricky. The consolidation feature is very, very powerful. Okay. Cancel just ends the trade, but it doesn't flatten if you're already in the market, KW. If you're already in the market, cancel will not always close all your positions. Okay. Close will close. What city am I from? I grew up New York, spent 15 years in Boston, spent many, many, many years, 26 years in Philly or so, spent 15 on Long Island, Long Island. I'm a mutt. I'm a mutt. I lived in a couple of different East Coast places. Um, Listen, we are at 2 hours. Everybody's been unbelievable, incredibly patient. I want to look real quickly at my syllabus, fancy word, make sure that I covered super important things. We have about 25 to 50 trades a month where we generate a hira, and I have at least 5 to 10 on my own now, and it's going to be more in this coming year. I promise you that we trade in the trade room. We covered sync. I honestly think that we've covered many, if not most, of the important features of our software. I'm sure that I've left some things out. I can't stress enough how important it is. I didn't show you how to find your own trades. Let's end on that. It's the most important and one of the easiest things that a person can do. How do you find your own trades? How do I find a trade? Okay. What I do is I have special favorite websites that have phenomenal calendars. Okay. And one of my favorite calendars is Forex Factory. Happens to be one of the best calendars. So I go to Forex Factory, and for instance, that's how I know next week is non-farm payroll. Monday, January 1st, if it wasn't a holiday, we would be in the trade room trading the Kaishan report. This is the second month in a row that we've lost this report because either it was at a weird time or it was on a holiday. This has been a really successful, tiny little report for us. It's Chinese news. Who knows? It might even work New Year's Eve, but the odds are it won't. However, Tuesday we're kind of getting back to normal. There's a British trade. That's one of our trades for sure. That's an absolute trade. Um, so Tuesday starts out a little bit slow. Canada manufacturing PMI, nah, I wouldn't trade that personally. Tuesday is a little bit slow. Wednesday, we're starting to pick up. You've got construction PMI on the pound. ISM, I will definitely trade that live. Okay. FOMC meeting minutes, we will definitely trade that live. That's on Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. January 3rd. Kaishan Services. That's Wednesday night. It's been a pretty slow trade. Have to make a decision on that one. Not leaning towards that being a good trade these days. That is Wednesday. Thursday has the Wednesday oil trade and the Thursday gas trade, I'm sure, because of the holiday. This is how I find trades. That is a 4:30 a.m. trade. That's a trade I will not get up for, Aspen, but we have a lot of international customers, a lot of people in a lot of international members, a lot of international members that trade the British reports. And we have a lot of people that get up just for the British reports because they've been trading really well lately. So Jay normally sends a trade report with the instrument to trade. Sometimes we will make a change in the trade room, Jim, because of testing. That will tell us another instrument has been trading it better. So for US news, we often trade gold, bonds, the yen. For international news, like the Australian dollar, for Australian news, we trade the Australian dollar, sometimes copper on Chinese news. We trade corn on the grain reports. We trade oil. There is a natural gas trade that I have a way that I'm thinking of trading it, not using our standard reports. Bob, did you have any questions for me? Silver, we don't trade, Chris. The margin is just way too high. Copper, getting into much more. HG is very, very interesting. Uh, we don't have a list of possibilities per event, Chris. Again, the trade room, we talk about how that trade performed over the past X amount of trades because we have over a year's worth of data now that we can look up how a report did in the trade room. So it's critical. And Chris, you know, you've been coming into the trade room. So I've been seeing you in the trade room a lot. We're only going to get better in the way that we do things in the trade room. What are our normal hours that we trade and sit down? Aspen, right now, there are no normal hours. You'll get a weekly schedule. That's how it works. Okay. Don't forget, you're going to get that weekly schedule, the weekly HIRA, and sometimes I'll add to it. It's very important to read the emails that I send or look on Facebook for the things that I post. Go to our website. That's going to keep you updated. However, I'm definitely looking for a little bit more traditional trading. And I'm looking for some times that the consolidation trade might work really, really well at certain times. So, Aspen, to answer your question, we are very, very different from your average guy. We don't sit in front of our charts all day long. Some days I don't even look at the charts. That's the truth. Some days I'll just test and I'll test and I'll test like a lunatic. Of course, I'll look at the charts a little bit to see what's going on. Um, but we're not the regular, we're not your usual, the same old, we're not the same old, same old. That's the truth. We're very different. Anybody that wants to send me an email, anybody that's not a member and would like to be a member, I told you I'm not selling at this event, but you are welcome to email me at support@joebracketbreakout.net, and you will be eligible for any of our holiday promotions that we have had. Okay? If you want to sign up for a year, we'd love to have you. If you want to sign up for a month, we'd love to have you. There is nobody more important to us than our members. I think you all know that. I don't have to prove how I feel about everybody that is a member or isn't even a member. I have never thrown anyone out of the room ever. I've never had a fight with anybody in the room, and I've never had a bad word said live in this room to anyone. And that is the truth. We have the greatest room that I've ever been in. And I've been in them all. I've been with John Carter and Ubit Centers. I've been with DTI. You name it, I've been with them. We do things differently. So don't forget, you'll get a schedule every week. If for some reason you're not getting our emails, please let me know. If for some reason your software didn't get activated, let me know. We've been so busy that maybe something fell through the cracks. Let us know. Don't get mad at us. We'll take care of it. I am hoping, I'm not promising yet, but I'm hoping to have a lot of special events this year in our trade room. And one of the special events is Ted. I love Ted Posobiec. I think he's a great trader. And I think that Ted misses his trade room probably. And my plan is to talk to Ted and see if we could get him to come in and do a little trading with us, because I think what Ted does relates to what we do. And there are many people like that. We have members that have a lot of knowledge about copper, for instance, and they're going to come into the room and give us lessons about copper. Does the software have a version number? You can check. KW, right now the versions are a mess. I wish I could be more. I can't be more straightforward than that. The versions, in our rush to get everything out to you for the holidays, the versions got kind of goofy. Let me see if I can give you that answer though. On NinjaTrader 7, the trap trade is version 2.2. The breakout trade is version 2.3.0. And in NinjaTrader 8, we've never had NinjaTrader 8. So if you have it, you've got the right version. But however, NinjaTrader 8, the breakout version, it must be version 2.3 actually. Must be 2.3. That is the version we're shipping. And the trap trade is version 2.2.3. 2.2.3. This is all recorded. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get the video set up so that I could send it to you all. Keep asking the questions. I will now stay for questions until they are finished. So, anybody got a question you want to ask me, please? Let me hear it. Does the software, okay, you asked the version numbers. Any other questions? Because I'm going to stay until you're done. Cheers and Happy New Year to you too, Aspen. Do you have to uninstall the old version? Okay, Chris. Remember what I said about version. If you're running Ninja version 7, do yourself a favor, uninstall the software. Let me show you how to do it. It's easy to do. Let me see what I did here. Hang on. Let me see what I don't even know what versions I have going. So give me a second. And I'll show you what I would do. Okay. So that's all I need. I don't need this. I just need this. Let's say you've got Ninja 7 and you should uninstall. So go to Tools. I hope I'm right. Let's see. It might be Utilities. Let me make sure. Go to Utilities, remove Ninja Script Assembly, click it, and then remove the JOBB Trap Trade, and JOBB Bracket Breakout, and even you could leave the pivots. You can leave the pivots. But the most important thing is get rid of that template. Get rid of the template. Where is the template? Do I have to tell you? Or do you know where it is? Okay, you know where it is. Get rid of the template and either make your own or send me an email and I can send you a template. Okay? The template causes that dreaded error, Ninja serialization error. If you get the Ninja serialization error, it's the information to fixing it is in the JOBB help file. All it has to do with is it's a Ninja error. It's not a JOBB error, JOBB error. It has to do with older files that are trying to access our newer files. That's all it is. It's no big deal. I got it on my machine when I first installed the strategy, and you can see I'm running the strategy just fine. So don't worry about it if it happens. Just get rid of it. That's all there is to it. Get rid of your template, make a new template, and you should be fine. Again, anybody, if you're on the fence about coming in, we've sent a zillion emails. Just go to support@jobracketbreakout.net. Send me an email. I'll send you a link so you could join up. Okay. The more people that we have, the more special features we can bring you every year. That's the whole deal. We had a great year this year of bringing you new stuff. We brought new versions, new everything. Okay, now VPS. Daniel, if you're far away, it will not hurt you, okay? If the only feed you have is IB, I would use a VPS. IB is not known as having the fastest data feed in the world, and trading the news, you want to. Look, let me show you everybody something that's very important. When you're trading the news, hopefully you can see this. Never have multiple workspaces open simultaneously. Don't have unnecessary programs enabled on startup, okay? No virus checkers running. Buy the fastest machine you can afford, okay? Connect to the internet hardwired, not wireless. Reboot Ninja and your computer before your trades. Make sure you're in sync, okay? All of these things are very, very important. Use a VPS. If you can afford a VPS and you're overseas especially, use it, okay? It will really help you. It will really help you. We can recommend certain VPSs. People are using Speedy Trading Servers. People are using the Omni.net. There is this new VPS at Amazon that one of our members said is actually almost free. And he was saying that he has a way to test it. And if you send me an email, I can send that to you. Okay. VPS is very, David. But David, you're in the US. In the US, where are you located, David? I forgot. You're in California. Uh, I did say an alternate universe. That's true. I would say that I would test without a VPS first. If your fills are terrible compared to what people are doing in the room, then you might want a UPS. Canada, way up by northern Canada, northern Canadian Edmonton. Again, I would consider a VPS seriously but I would test. I would test. And you can test with SIM first to see what your fills are like in the room. We don't want your money. That's not why we're telling you to SIM first. We want your fills to be good. So you could do a couple of, a week of SIM tests first. It's just that simple. There will always be slippage on news trades. The way that you reduce it is by keeping your resources as low as possible. Okay? So don't ever think you're going to get rid of slippage 100%. It's just not going to happen. Okay? Any other questions, folks, before we go? And again, in the trade room, we will have more of this over and over. Lee, the new software looks interesting. Not 100% sure this was covered. Can the new software adjust stops on the fly? If target one fills, yes, the new software can, yes, it can move the stop. Okay? Absolutely, Simon, on your targets 2 and 3, without a doubt. When is the first trade I will do this year? Arthur, probably Tuesday. Probably Tuesday. I might just sim on Tuesday to see what the market's like, but I'll be in the trade room raring to go. Okay? Hey, it's non-farm this week. This is a big week. This is a good week for us. Non-farm, ADP. There's a lot of good trades. Look at the trades this week. That was the last thing I was going to finish with. We were going to see what trades there are. So if you go to investing.com also, which happens to have an excellent calendar, okay? Excellent calendar. Investing.com, go to news, go to economic calendar, go to next week, and let's see what they got going. Monday, obviously, is New Year's Day. It's a shame that Kaishan report's one of my favorite reports. Really bugs me. Really bugs me. I never knew they had this live chat. That's great. Um, Italian manufacturing, trade balance. It's not as busy a week as I thought it would be. Some international people might trade German unemployment and things of that sort. The Red Book doesn't move the market. ISM is probably the first trade I'll take this week. Oh, you know what, folks? No, this ISM, okay? Not this ISM. They're two different reports. Two different reports. I will be trading ISM manufacturing employment, probably be the first live trade I take this week. Okay, and then we will go down further and see what else is going on. Kaishin services, we'll take a look. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's probably a no, but it's been a really slow trade. Thursday we have gas. Thursday we have oil. The Challenger job cuts is Thursday. It's usually not a report. However, I have to talk Eric into letting me test the dollar. I believe there may be a dollar trade in that. ADP is an absolute trade. Definitely trading it. It's been really good. Not sure about services PMI. It hasn't been a very good trade. Natural gas, crude oil. We definitely have some action this week, without a doubt. Friday is the big one. Non-farm payrolls. We will be here trading it. Also, we will be trading ISM non-manufacturing after non-farm payrolls. IV we don't trade. It doesn't move that Canadian market, although last month I think it did. So we'll keep an eye on it. That's how I see it. Real quick, just a real quick look today. Any other questions? How many trades and what win-loss percentage? Aspen, I wish I could answer that. I don't know. I'll be honest. We're guilty of not keeping a track record. It's something that we really should do this year. If somebody wants to help me in the trade room by just keeping a track record of all the trades that we take in the trade room, you're welcome to be my track record guy. That's the truth. Is there anything special you have to do for Top Step? Data feed is automatically rhythmic, and just make sure Chart Trader is on. You know, Robin, you probably want to do a little bit of checking with them, in all honesty, because they have certain rules. There's certain trades they won't let you trade at the moment of the trade. Okay? There are trades they won't let you trade at the moment of the trade, but there are more and more trades that we're not going to trade at the moment of the trade, that we're doing somewhat differently. So that's why I was glad you signed up, because I think that in the long run you're going to find that it's not a waste of your money. So, but I would also stay on top of in touch with Top Step. I don't know all their rules. I really don't. Okay. More questions. I'll sit, I'll answer. I'll sit, I'll answer. Arthur, I'll send you the files. John trades Top Step. John, I think what he's asking is he's worried about their rules. Robin, is it male or female? I'm thinking you're a guy. Female. I'm sorry. Hey, how do you like that? Okay. Uh, you know, Robin, I thought the spelling could go either way, truthfully. John, one of our members, knows the rules really, really well. Um, he offered that, John, I can give her your email. That's what you're saying? Top Step disallows some news reports, but not all of them, Robin. That's the thing. They don't disallow all of them. So John said that he'd be more than happy to answer your Top Step questions. And this is why I love the trade room. I love the trade room. And the funny thing is, John just became a member. John's been coming into the trade room. And John, I thought you were a member. That's how funny it goes sometimes. So who knows? You know, I'm just happy that people come into the room. I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing this. I know you are. I know you are. For some reason, um, I don't know everybody who's a member. That's the funny thing. Sometimes I think someone's a member who's not a member. Sometimes I think someone's a member who is a member, who isn't a member. So don't ever take it personally. It's a lot of data, and I'm much more interested in how did that trade perform. I'd rather give you that info than are you a member? You know, we'll do the back end stuff that we do, but I'm more worried about how's the trade performing. Any other questions? We've been here way over 2 hours, way over 2 hours. This has been illuminating, to say the least. I'm still here. I'm still willing to answer questions. John, I didn't realize that. Okay. So you're kicking butt with Top Step. It sounds like you're kicking butt with Top Step. Well, good for you. Uh, any others? Looking forward to having. Yep, me too, Brian. I am too. Jim, did I miss your question? Did I miss your question? Let me scroll up and answer it. I missed it. Why is precise time so critical if the strategy places the orders 5 seconds before the news? Because it's not every single report that's critical, Jim. There's a few reports that are more critical than others. It's a great question. There are some reports where it's okay where you are in the queue. There are other reports that if you're in the wrong time, then you might not get filled. You might get filled at the wrong time. In other words, the report might get released and you might get filled 2 seconds after the report's released when we need to get filled a second after the report's released. I realize that sometimes we put our orders on the chart early, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get filled when the report's released. And the thing that's important is the second the report's released, we might be 100th of a second away from the report being released. It's not so much that we put the data on the chart 5 seconds early, it's when was that data triggered, okay? It's the triggering. Robin, the only thing I ask is because so many people are emailing me, shoot me an email at support@joebracketbreakout.net, support@joebracketbreakout.net, just reminding me to give you John's email for info about Top Step, okay? Here's the address for everybody. I'm not going to give John everybody's email address. I'm only going to give him one. Any other questions? Any other questions? I said I would stay, and I meant it. As hungry as I am. I feel like I didn't even cover everything. Aspen, I will see you in the trading room. Absolutely. I got to get myself out of Philly and get back home. Thank you, Jim, for joining up. It's appreciated. Peter, you asked a good question. Should you learn the trap trade or the breakout trade first? Definitely do both. Definitely work on both of them. Okay? If you're not in a rush, Peter, if you're not one of those guys that thinks we're just looking for your money and want you to waste your time learning, you understand what I'm saying. We don't want you to rush. We're not trying to take your money by you not rushing. I think you understand exactly what I'm saying. Take your time. There's always another trade, always. No forensic tomorrow that I know of, Arthur. There is no forensic tomorrow unless I missed it. It is absolutely okay to keep 7, David. If you prefer to use NinjaTrader version 7, I'm not going to ignore you. I mean, if you're comfortable using it for a while, don't sweat it. Use Ninja 7, use version 7. It's okay. You still got the time trader. You still got the range trade. If you don't need all those new features, do whatever the heck you want to do. You're the boss. What is average learning time to feel good to go live? Aspen, I would give yourself minimum 2 weeks of practice. That means you're looking at it, you're taking some practice trades, try to come into the trade room. For some people, it's 2 months. I swear, Aspen, I've got some people, they've been just coming into the trade room for a year. They don't even trade. They're just watching and learning. And there are people like that don't want, they just want to learn about it. And that's perfectly fine too. But learning how to put a trade on, you can do in a day. Learning how to manage the trade, takes a little bit longer. And then, learning about understanding the HIRA, what you should get from it, understanding our protocols It takes times. David wouldn't do anything until his sim account is profitable over many months. Okay. That's his personal approach. That's his personal approach. I usually take a couple of weeks to learn a system and then I'm ready to go. Then I'm ready to go. So it's really a question, but I wouldn't trade unless I was comfortable. I will not trade unless I'm comfortable. Okay. Uh, David, what links do you need? Because we sent out every link that you should have in an email. So if there's any links that you need, send me, tell me what you need in an email. Here's my email again. Okay. Yes, different. This is David S. Um, Send me to anything else you need. Okay, if you feel like you're missing something. All right. I absolutely want to wish everybody a happy new year. Eric is sitting in the background. I want to just ask him, Eric, did I cover everything you wanted me to ask? Just honestly tell me anything that you want me to ask because, we're a team. And I want to make sure that you're happy and that we ask every question you wanted me to ask. I want to know if everybody feels that this had value for them. I hope very much that this was valuable for you. So please tell me whether you feel this was valuable. And I want to know also if you're still on the fence about coming inside to be a member. If there's anything I can do if there's anything I can do to help you to become a member, let me know. Just let me know. Aspen, I'm so happy that you feel better than when you came here. That's fabulous. That's great. I absolutely wish everybody the happiest of New Year's. I hope your holidays were fantastic and that everything is beautiful for your family and yourself. And just always remember, Leon, you can email, you can say hello, everything. You can ask what a report, how it's been behaving. No question is off limits. Okay? No question is off limits. So I'm going to call it a day, folks. I want to thank everybody. Simon, thank you. Have the greatest new year, everybody, and I'll see you all in the trade room. Get over to thenewstraders.com. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate that. Get over to thenewstraders.com. You'll get the links. Donald, same to you. You'll all get the links for getting into the trade room next week. Nobody will be left out, I promise. And we'll start the new year on a good foot. What do you say? Let's start the new year on a good foot. ISM is a good report to trade, in my opinion. Dave, you too. We took care of that activation for you today. So I'm sorry that wasn't done faster. And a profitable 2018. George is asking, do you need to start paying? No, as a member, the trade room is free forever, George. You do not have to pay for the trade room. As a member, the trade room is included. Okay? You don't ever have to worry about that. Everything is included, George. Everything. You get everything we have. Okay? The only time people will ever have to pay for anything is, let's say we partner up with somebody. Let's say Joe Smith writes an incredible strategy and it trades pumpkin bread and it does it discretionarily and he's charging $150 a month for it. Something like that we wouldn't be able to include because it's not ours. But everything that's ours, the trade room, the blog, the forum, the software, we've never charged members extra for that stuff. We always make it part of the service. And that's what we're planning to continue. So I know that answers your question. Last question. Who's going to ask me the last final question of 2017? Anybody? Last question of 2017? I know what it is. Why am I so handsome? When are we going to trade oil for live? How much money will we make? When are we going to trade oil live? David, I am going to try, no joke, to trade oil live next week. If the oil chart looks good, I'll be trading oil live next week. Fair enough? Fair enough. And natural gas, I'm going to approach the same way as oil. Probably not going to trade the natural gas reports. I'm much more interested in trading natural gas right after the report. Same thing with oil. Oil, I'm mixed. I'm interested in both. I'm interested in both. Ted always makes money with oil, but Ted trades after the reports, David. And it is Eric you hear having a heart attack, yes. No, this is actually Eric's idea. Eric's idea is oil. He's pushing oil, so I'm all in favor. We talk. You know what I mean? Like we do stuff together. We make decisions together. He's the boss, but he's very open-minded and he listens. And that's the key. I make a fortune on oil and sim too, David. I'm a billionaire sim trader. But it's the slippage. You know that. You know that. All right, everybody. Have the happiest new year. I'll see you all next week. It's going to be before you know it. We're going to be having fun in the trade room, learning. Arthur, Albert, thank you so much. Arthur, I got your mail. You'll get an answer for sure. And you know the words. I'll see you all in the trade room. Take care, everybody. So long.